Yo, what's up guys, Hexx Inkworks here. Now I'm sure you guys are aware of my stash cans, and if you're not, go check out the video for that. But with sharing them, one of my friends was interested in them, but he was more interested in the art side of it as opposed to the functionality side of it. Now as per, this video's been sat on my hard drive for a while, 3 months in fact, before I've published it, and as a result, said mate has changed his Instagram handle from Delsmag to DLSM135. Page is a film photography page. I personally love some of his pictures just because of the subject matter, the style, the artistic choices he's made and how he's gone about them. Now relating back to what I said about him being more interested in the art side of it as opposed to the functionality side of it, I use this as an excuse to do something different. I'm always wanting to try and experiment with new things just because I find it interesting and also entertaining. Also as well, it gives me an excuse to try and use up some paint markers because I have far too many paint markers. Now with me mentioning about said markers, I thought I might as well talk about them a little bit. First marker I use for the sketching is a Pilot Supercolour Silver in fine, and then I use a medium version of this for the fill, and then the fourth marker, which I use for the key line, is a gold fine marker of theirs. Now I've been using these markers for quite a few years. They're typically my go-to for metallic colours, and the reason why is just because I always just get a really nice feel from them. Sometimes you can find a certain brand of paint or marker or whatever and it just feels right and nice to use it. This is definitely one of those scenarios for me with these Pilot markers. They flow really nice, the opacity is really good, and most of all, I've never had any problem with paint drying in the nib, which is a typical common thing with graffiti markers, and it's horrible because you'd pump it up, you'd use it for a bit, you'd put it down, you'd come back to it, I don't know, a few days later, and the nib would just be completely broken and the marker would be unusable. Now I'm not saying this with all graffiti markers because there's a lot of different variables for this to happen, such as the formula of the paint or the ink, or simply the material the nib is made out of. But yeah, that's why these are one of my favourite markers, because I've never really had any problems like this. And also, I know that Pilot have a really good representation within the graffiti community. I've never heard of any of their products being bad, so this is probably just another typical product from Pilot, which is of quality. But just to let you know that the footage on screen right now isn't a true representation of the silver, because this is me picking it up when I haven't used it in days. I took advantage of the slightly lighter, more diluted shade just to put the first lines down for the sketch. You'll see the true representation of the silver later on when I do the fill. Now the third marker that I use in between the fill and the key line Pilots is a blue medium Pebeo 4 Artist marker, which I use for the drop shadow. These are effectively just European branded unis in my opinion, and towards the end I use a black and white fine version as well. Like I said how I've been using Pilots for a while, I've been using these for a bit but not as long, but they're still my go-tos for black and white, while for metallic colours the Pilots are my go-tos. And yeah, if you haven't noticed already, with me explaining all of that, I made a spelling error with the first word. I got 2 letters mixed up, but it doesn't matter just because I'm going to go over it with the fill anyway. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for this video guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of it. Any comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that, you know what to do. Just drop them in the comment section below. Also please follow my Instagram because I always put updates and different posts relating to my whole practice on there, some of which I think you guys will really like. This has been Hexx Inkworks with a stash can decoration video. Peace out guys.